Hello friends, I am Sunil Ranjan and I'm an English teacher. Now here in this session I have come with the explanation of the poem After Blenheim by Robert Southey. Well, After Blenheim by Robert Southey is an anti-war poem. It centers around one of the major battles of the 18th century, the Battle of Blenheim. The poem explores war and its consequences deeply. Through a conversation between an old farmer, Caspar, and his grandchildren, Wilhelmine and Peterkin, the poet gradually reveals the scene of a former battlefield. One of the kids has found something large and round, which his grandfather explains is a skull, one of many to be found nearby. Similar instances run through the poem to support the bitter consequences of war and its validity. The war caused huge devastation and great loss of human life. But old Caspar seems least bothered about this, as he claims that it was a famous victory, and things like that must be. His dreadful descriptions, followed by his casual approach, sound ironical. Now the lines of the poem go. It was a summer evening, old Caspar's work was done, and he before his cottage door was sitting in the sun, and by him sported on the green his little grandchild Wilhelmine. She saw her brother Peterkin roll something large and round, which he beside the rivulet in playing there had found. He came to ask what he had found that was so large and smooth and round. Now here, the poem begins by describing a summer evening. It is the time when most people return from work. After doing his work, an old man, Caspar, was sitting in the sun before his cottage door. His grandchildren, Wilhelmine and Peterkin, were playing close to him on the grass. His granddaughter, Wilhelmine, saw her brother Peterkin rolling something large and round in his hand, which he had found beside the small river. The old man came to him and asked what he had found, which was so large and smooth and round. Now the poem goes further. Old Caspar took it from the boy, who stood expectant by, and then the old man shook his head, and with a natural sigh, "'Tis some poor fellow's skull," said he, "who fell in the great victory." The old Caspar took that round thing from the boy. The child looked at him, eager to know about it from his grandfather. The old man looked at it for some time and then shook his head and breathed naturally and deeply and said that it was some unfortunate soldier's skull who had died in the battle of Blenheim that had been won. Now the poem goes further. I find them in the garden, for there's many here about, and often when I go to plough, the ploughshare turns them out. For many thousand men, said he, were slain in that great victory. Now the old man tells his grandchildren that when he goes to plough the field, he finds many such skulls there. The blade of his plough turns many such skulls out. He tells them that many people were killed in that big victory. Now tell us what was all about. Young Peterkin, he cries, and little Wilhelmine looks up with wonder-waiting eyes. Now tell us all about the war and what they fought each other for. Now, hearing this from his grandfather, the children are deeply shocked, and young Peterkin begins to cry. The little granddaughter Wilhelmine wonders at what had happened, in which thousands of people had lost their lives. She grows restless, looks up at her grandfather, and eagerly asks him why so many people had died and why the two sides fought each other. Now the poem continues. It was the English, Caspar cried, who put the French to rout. But what they fought each other for, I could not well make out. But everybody said, quoth he, that was a famous victory. Caspar told them that it was the British who had defeated the Franco-Bavarian army in the Battle of Blenheim. He tells them that he could not understand why they had fought each other. He just knew what everybody said, that it was a famous victory. Now we go further. My father lived at Blenheim then, yon little stream hard by. They burnt his dwelling to the ground, and he was forced to fly. So with his wife and child he fled, nor had he where to rest his head. Now here, old Caspar told children that his father lived then at Blenheim near a river. The enemy army burnt his home and destroyed it, and he was forced to run away. So he fled with his wife and child, and did not find any place where they could get shelter. They had to roam from one place to another. Now the poem goes ahead. With fire and sword the country round was wasted far and wide, and many a childing mother then and newborn baby died. But things like that, must be at every famous victory. Now here the poet tells about the serious damage caused by the battle. There was fire and sword everywhere. Men were killing men. A huge number of mothers and their newborn babies died. Old Caspar continues to say that such deaths are quite common in any famous victory. Here we see how casually the old man talks about death in every famous victory. Now the poem, the last stanza goes, they say it was a shocking sight after the field was won, for many thousand bodies here lay rotting in the sun. But things like that, must be after a famous victory. Now here the poet offers a harsh comment in these lines on the brutality caused in any battle that took so many human lives, just to show the superiority of one side over another. The battle site was extremely shocking after the victory of one side was announced, and on the other hand, thousands of dead bodies lying in the sun and rotting. The old man says again that such things are quite common when battles are won. The repetition of the line again is a harsh comment on the cruel nature of man that has no element of humanity left in him. So, dear students, I come to the end of the explanation here. Well, I would suggest you to subscribe to my channel so that I feel happy and come up with fine videos for you. Thank you.